Lamelo Ball has a new teammate coming to Charlotte, and it's going to change the way Lamelo plays his game and the way the Charlotte Hornets play the game of basketball. But before we get into the video and before we discuss and I reveal who this player is going to be, please make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on those post notifications for more great content. And with all that being said, let's get right into the video. Now, before we reveal the teammate, let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets' biggest problem. They have no real center depth or even presence in the paint. Their paint defense is completely non-existent. Let's look at the centers. They have Bismack Biyombo. Yes, he can block shots, but he can't run the floor with Melo. The Charlotte Hornets need somebody who's gonna run the floor with Melo, catch those lobs, always be trailing Lamelo, because Lamelo has eyes in the back of his head to catch those lobs and just run the pace with him. But the Hornets don't have that. Bismack Biyombo does not run the floor with him like that. Cody Zeller, unathletic. He does provide a little bit of offense, but his defense isn't all there. And he's just not the type that fits in with Melo. None of these centers on the Charlotte Hornets are the perfect fit for Lamelo Ball. Let's look at it. Lamelo Ball runs the pick and roll, and he runs, he throws alley-oops to one person. Who is that? That's Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is 6'8". But the good thing is the new teammate that's going to come to the Charlotte Hornets is going to be from the G League. And that player is Vernon Carey. Yes, you guys are hearing that right. Vernon Carey from the Charlotte Hornets G League team is coming up to play for the Charlotte Hornets. And here's an article we're going to discuss and talk about. Here it is. Before we look at the article, look at some of these highlights by Vernon Carey. Look at it. It's exactly what Lamelo Ball needs. He's literally at the end of the floor and he's getting the ball tossed up ahead to him and he's just putting it up for easy points. It kind of reminds me of Lamelo to Jello in high school. And, this is exactly what Lamelo Ball needs. But anyways, let's look at this article right now. So first, this tweet comes from Rick Buttnell, a Charlotte Hornets insider that literally breaks the news for everything Charlotte Hornets related and Lamelo Ball related. Let's look at his first tweet. Hornets make it official. All 4 players who were sent to the Greensboro Swarm, aka the Charlotte Hornets G League team, are back with the Hornets. And that 4 players includes Vernon Carey Jr., the center that Lamelo Ball desperately needs. This is big news, especially since Vernon Carey is the ideal center for Lamelo. I believe he's about 6'9". He can shoot the 3. He can literally do it all. He can run the floor with Melo. He's going to catch lobs from Lamelo. He can stretch the floor like I just said. He's a good rebounder and he has defensive presence. He isn't afraid to go up there and get those easy blocks. And this is going to completely transform this Hornets team. And if James Borrego executes, this is going to be looking like a real scary duo. So now let's look at the article that Rick Buttnell released. Like I said, a very reputable source, and he is an insider for this Hornets team, and I think he's the one to trust. So this is an article basically on head coach James Borrego, Vernon Carey, and him being on the Hornets roster. So let's read it. The Charlotte Hornets' shallow situation at center came to head this weekend with starter Cody Zeller missing back-to-back games with a hip contusion. As the Hornets scramble for options, are rookies Vernon Carey and Nick Richards under consideration for rotation? And this is what head coach James Borrego responded with. Not immediately, with them slated to finish out the G League schedule at least through the All-Star break. So, James Borrego, obviously, they got to prove themselves in practice, so it's not going to be like they're just going to immediately fit into the rotation, but I have no doubt that Vernon Carey is good enough to be in this rotation and get some quality minutes. You guys can see another quote by James Borrego. I think you could see them down the road. Borrego said in the response to an observer question before Sunday's road victory against the Sacramento Kings, if we need one or both of them, we'll know what we have, and maybe they're a little bit more prepared for meaningful times. Now, I just read you guys the quotes, and you can kind of tell that head coach James Borrego it seems like he doesn't want Vernon Carey on the team, and I find it shocking, honestly. I'm surprised that Vernon Carey hasn't even played a regular season game with this Hornets team because he's absolutely dominating in the G League. He's dropped multiple 20-point games and even 30-point games for the G League Swarm, and it just makes no sense. You guys can see the tape that I'm showing right now. Tell me he wouldn't fit with the Charlotte Hornets team. Instead of signing a big name like DeMarcus Cousins, or getting a free agent center, just get Vernon Carey. You barely have to pay him anything, and he's a perfect fit for Lamelo. Comment down below if you guys agree with me. I know I'm not the only one. I've seen many of my comment section telling me to make a video on this, and here it is. So, like I said again, All 4 players from the G League Swarm are expected to join the Charlottes after this All-Star break. So hopefully Vernon and CAREY will get some quality minutes and fit in with Lamelo Ball, because honestly, both centers on the Hornets, Bismack and Cody Zeller, they're not really, that reliable. They are injury prone. Both of them have had many injuries this season, and it's barely been, it's just the All-Star break, and they have so many injuries already. We often see Richards playing for the Hornets actually than Vernon CAREY. So, I mean, Vernon CAREY is the best option for Lamelo, and that's just what we have to see. And it's going to completely transform Lamelo's game. Trust me, guys. This is the real thing that the Hornets really need. The best part about Vernon CAREY Jr. finally coming up to the Hornets team is that Lamelo is all for it. Lamelo has posted many times on his social media congratulating Vernon CAREY for his amazing performances in the G League. I believe he retweeted it, reposted it after Vernon CAREY had a 30-point game, a 20-point game. I will show screenshots if I do have them available, but I mean, I don't blame Melo, man. He's having to play with some old heads, Bismack can't jump, can't run the floor with him. And then Cody Zeller, again, can't jump and can't run the floor with him. So, Melo's all for it. I know you guys are all for it watching this video. You guys can clearly see he's an athletic big. He can even shoot the 3. He's not a bad 3-point shooter. So, that pick and roll is going to be something serious. And this is going to change Lamelo's game drastically. And I just can't wait for this to happen. But again, he's going to have to prove himself in practice. Run the pick and roll with Melo in practice and impress James Borrego. But that's going to be a hard task, especially since James Borrego, he's not the type to, he's more of a developmental type of person. He wants to develop players, and he doesn't give them a chance right away. Just like how we seen Lamelo. He didn't really give Lamelo a chance right away. He wanted to develop him more as Lamelo came off the bench about the first quarter of the season, and then he eventually became a starter. So let me know what you guys think of the situation in the comment section. Is Vernon CAREY the answer to the Charlotte Hornets team? And is this going to be the next big duo for Lamelo and Vernon CAREY? Comment down below. I want to hear what you guys think of the situation. This is going to end off the video. Like I said again, subscribe, hit that like button. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers. This is crazy to say, but you guys have been supporting me like crazy. I'm going to keep dropping this content. Comment down below any future video ideas. And with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.